Well, church is a good place to be. You come with your beliefs that you have about the world and yourself and your God or not God, and the minister stands up front and tells you that everything you believe is absolutely correct, and you feel comforted and secure, and you go home knowing all is well. Church is a very good place, isn't it? Something happened to me when I was 16 or 17, I forget which, and I was in a conservative church and hadn't been to church, so I really didn't have a net or a structured belief system, or I would say the propagandized story already internalized in me. So when I was told that God loved me and asked if I loved God, I had this experience of being loved and loving. It had nothing to do with a particular set of beliefs, and to me, not having beliefs or pre-established set of beliefs about religion or God, I didn't need for that experience to be encased in a particular belief system. It was just an experience, bodily experience that was good and that was wonderful. And that became the foundation of my spiritual life. Well, at least church spiritual life. Certainly I ran through the woods and played by the river and caught turtles and stuff like that, which is another aspect of spiritual life. That did something, though, because what that did was that no matter what beliefs I heard or what stories I heard or how I was being evangelized by others or talked to by others about what was right and what was wrong, all of that always got measured against that experience. If what I was hearing did not facilitate movement and affirm that experience, I didn't take it in, or I would question it. It didn't make sense to me. And then as I grew in my thinking and my education, I began to understand that any sound, reasonable religious belief system needs to be of a quality that leads you past that belief system. That a good, healthy spiritual life does not have a belief system that's capturing in an absolute. A good, healthy belief system is a belief system that leads you to the experience of love and allows you to let go of the belief system. So you are not captured by language, but you are affirmed by your bodily experience. Every once in a while in life, if you're lucky, a truth comes your way that is disruptive, revelatory, and this particular truth is not a truth you can grasp. It's a truth that will take you a lifetime to understand and to wrestle with if you ever do fully understand it. In fact, your life becomes a process of understanding that truth, to study that truth, to see what others have to say about that truth. The truth becomes one, if not central, to the very ground of your sense of self and who you are. Sometimes you're in the presence of a truth, and it slips by you. You're busy, you're worried, your mind races, you got places to go, you're looking for something else. It's like a shooting star when you're with a person and next to a person and you're both watching a star-filled night and your mind is full of the next day. Your companion says, "Wow, did you see that? Man, that was real. That's the longest shooting star I've ever seen." And you say, "Huh? What?" Truths go by us. Now this particular, and some things I say today, and as we've been looking at an idea in our culture, and the title of this sermon is part 2, and last week was, do you know your place? Do you know how to get into your place? And do you know how to stay in your place? Do you know your place? Some things I say today I'm going to hope will be true. Some things I say won't be true, but I believe they're true. How many of you believe things 5 years ago that you knew were true and today, I don't know if that's true. Hopefully all of us. Hopefully all of us. And some things will be partially true. But my guess is, knowing myself, I'm going to speak as if they're all absolutely true. So be gracious and forgiving. But this particular truth that I'm going to say now is going to be hard to believe, especially as we look around the room But this truth is there is no such thing as a woman. Now, I drove to church with a woman today, so I'm thinking, what in the world am I saying, and what kind of meaning does that have, and especially what kind of meaning does that have when we're talking about, do you know your place? Do you know your place? And here comes thinkers, psychoanalytical thinkers, feminist thinkers, and people who take on the big ideas about life and the big ideas about history. And one of the conclusions that they have made is that there is no such thing as a woman. No such thing as a woman. You see, what it means, and believe you me, I know I'm on treacherous ground here. I understand that. I understand that. But there does seem to be some truth to this, in that what it means to be a woman in our culture, in Western civilization, and as a matter of fact, in Eastern, more, however, you could be more civilization than Western civilization, but it seems to me it's transcultural, that what it means and what it has meant in history to be a woman has been defined by what it has meant to be man. And that what it means to be a woman is not an act of self-agency. It's not an independent process. It is a process in comparison to what it means to be man. And throughout history, the definition of woman by man who dominates culture, would say that woman is lacking something. And therefore she is not quite right, as the man would say. Theologically, I had a hard time even reading some of the definitions and some of the ideas about women that men have pressed upon women for women to know their place. The great theologian, that's sarcasm, great theologian, Tertullian, has this to say about women. Now, remember that in Western civilization, the principles of monotheism and Christianity are consciously and unconsciously in the foundational tapestry of who we are as a people. God's sentence hangs over the female sex, and his punishment weighs down upon you. You are the devil's gateway. You first violated the forbidden tree and violated God's law. You shattered God's image in man, and because you merited death, God's Son had to die. Aristotle declares it is as if a woman were an infertile male. Male is male by virtue of a particular ability, and a female is a female in virtue of a particular inability. And on it goes. And on it goes. Now, this is capturing and know your place, not just for women, but also for men. Because in order to keep something captive, and this is what this is about. This is about ownership of the woman's body, ownership of the woman's life, telling the woman who and how to be in order to fill a certain particular being a particular way in society to perpetuate a society, and it's got nothing to do with woman. There's no such thing as a woman. There is only this being that is groomed to be something other than what she actually is. So now when I first read that statement, it didn't make a lot of sense to me, but now it's starting to make sense to me that there is a distortion and a distortive process going on. But any time you have to keep something captive in order to maintain power, you are also captive. Because now you've got to tend to that system where there's this captive. So I'm not free as a man either, and you're not. So here we are living here. My concern is twofold. One is selfish. I don't want to spend my life being captured in a way that captures. I don't want that for myself. So I had up front, there's a selfishness to it. I want to be free.